most of us first became aware of her in 2016. She made an impression back then, and at the last Olympics, she really stuck the landing. Simone Biles has 11 Olympic medals, and 5 gymnastic moves are actually named after her. She became the youngest recipient ever to receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom. But before the spotlights, the standing ovations, and the record-breaking routines, she was just a 7-year-old whose life story could have thrown her off balance. Instead, she started to beam the moment she stepped into a gym. As many of you have seen in various news stories, docudramas, and documentaries, Simone Biles was blessed to have a village around her, from loving adoptive parents to coaches who helped her become the greatest of all time. One of those coaches is Aimee Boorman. She helped to lead Simone and the U.S. women's gymnastics team to victory in the 2016 Olympics.
I would like to be remembered as someone who never gave up and that just put in 100% for everything I did. And not only did I just go out there and have fun and represent my country, it's just I really enjoyed doing what I do.
And as we know, Simone came back for more in 2024. In Boorman's new book, The Balance, she shares how Biles rose above everything from the sexual abuse scandal by the former team doctor to the aggressive teaching style of other coaches. Aimee joins us to share how none of that stopped a star from shining. And Aimee, I was flipping out earlier when we couldn't hear you, but that's a good joke, isn't it?
Right. I see what you did there.
All right, there you go. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us. When we say coach, you're not just a coach, a USA Gymnastics Coach of the Year 4 times, 2016 U.S. Olympic Committee Coach of the Year as well. For you as a coach, you're not just on that side of the balance beam, if you will, but you actually started on the other side. You began gymnastics classes at the age of 6. Take me back to that time.
I did. I was a child of a single parent, and my mom needed a place for me to be after school. So she enrolled me in the Park District doing some gymnastics classes, and I just immediately fell in love with it. And so that was kind of where my origins.
Apparently you fell in love with both sides of it, because you began coaching at the age of 13.
Yes, correct. So I knew that I wanted to be in the gym as much as possible. And so I started coaching as well.
Yeah. You won the city championship event as a freshman in high school. Did it start to percolate in your mind? Because I just got to tell you, you know this. Every time we have the Olympics, I remember all my friends and I would go outside in the front yard after watching gymnastics. We'd be doing cartwheels, and we knew we were bound for the Olympics. But but we realized that that's a whole nother level. But was there that thing that's percolating in your mind when you win those awards of how far can I really go?
Yeah, I think there's a realization of checking your skill level and seeing what it compares to those Olympians, and realizing that that wasn't possible for me, but it didn't change my passion. It just changed my direction.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of direction, you went off to college and pursued a business degree in sports management as well. So you were still in that sports world, but you missed gymnastics, and you ended up coming to Houston. What brought you to Houston? Because by chance, something big happened for you.
Right. Yeah, it was very serendipitous. My college roommate had some job interviews in Houston, so we decided to road trip. I was just the tag along. And while she was interviewing, I was bored, and I thought, oh, well, I'll just interview at some gyms. And I interviewed at 4 gyms, and I got 3 job offers. She got a job offer, and we decided to move to Houston.
All right. And then one day you see somebody in the gym who's just ball of energy and muscle. And that was at Banyan's Gymnastics, and it was Simone Biles. Take us back to that first memory.
Yeah, so it's funny because the very first memory was not one that just came to me naturally. My mother actually tried to get my attention. My mother was teaching the class that Simone was in, and she said, Aimee, you have to come and see this little girl. She's incredible, and she hasn't taken a class before. And I blew my mom off, and I said I didn't have time to go see her because I was busy coaching my competitive team. So the moral of the story is you should always listen to your mother.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh. We're looking at this video right here, and what we're seeing is that so much power in that little bitty body.
Yeah, she is simply amazing. And, you know, this is probably about a year after she started gymnastics. And she's just, physically gifted. But her biggest ability, I think, is her air sense. the fact that she always knew where she was in the air. So it was really fun to coach her because I didn't have to be so worried about her not being able to land safely.
Yeah, yeah. All right. We started our show this morning with a thing called God Winks. And God Winks is something that is more than a coincidence, short of a miracle. And that's kind of like what your relationship was like with Simone Biles. You were the right coach for her. As we know, there's different types of coaching styles, especially in gymnastics. We went through a lot of that here in Houston. It hit the headlines of coaches that would be very high on discipline and very high on showing their displeasure with you when you didn't do well. You were a little bit opposite, and that was, I think, something that was so much appreciated by Simone because of her early beginnings in life.
Right. Yeah. You know, I knew from the start that it had to be fun for Simone because that's why she was in the gym, was because it was fun. And I think that had she been under a different situation in a different club with a different coach, someone who was more militaristic, she just would have said, I don't want to do this. This isn't any fun. And she could go off and do any sport she wanted just because she's physically gifted.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And Biles wrote the foreword in your book, and she says she was my gym mom. She just wanted all of us to do our best and to be happy and satisfied when we walk away from the sport. All right, so she quickly picked things up. What were some of the things about her that make her the greatest of all time that she is today?
Well, I think it started when she was really young, and it wasn't about winning competitions, but she's always been a showstopper. People have always just literally at a competition where there's 4 events going on, people stop to watch her. Judges judging other events stop to watch her. Other coaches stop to watch her. And it didn't matter if she made the routine, if she won the event, it was about her charisma.
And when it comes to that Olympic level, nothing is easy. She can make it look easy at the end, but nothing is easy. She struggled with things. She struggled with being an emotional teenager, not wanting to condition. I remember Carl Lewis saying, I don't like running long distance. I just want to sprint. That's it, right? But the coach said, you're going to have to do it. So not wanting to condition. She had fears like other gymnasts did. In 2015, she dealt with that thing that you all call the twisties.
Correct. Yes. So we had our bout with that as well. And, you know, luckily she had been well trained enough that we knew that we could kind of back off from the things that were triggering her and what she was feeling lost in the twisties. And it didn't set her back at all. I knew that we needed to relieve the pressure of the performance off of her, and then her mind would clear and she would do amazing.
Yeah.
You know, she was super dedicated. She was in the gym every single day, and it's because she wanted to be. And I didn't ever want to take away that shine from her.
Yeah. Explain to people who don't know what the twisties are.
So the twisties are, I think the best thing to equate it to is like a golfer getting the yips. But like when you're golfing and you swing a club and, you know, your ball goes the wrong way. But when that happens when you're a gymnast and you're 10 feet in the air, flipping and twisting, it can be life-threatening. So for a gymnast, as I mentioned earlier, that was one of her greatest superpowers, is that she always knew where she was. So suddenly she doesn't know where she is and has no idea where the floor is to land safely.
Yeah, she kind of got it all together right before the Olympics in Rio, won 5 medals in total, and the first American gymnast to do so. You all parted ways. You went and took another job somewhere else, and that oftentimes happens. You got her as far as you were going to get her to go at that moment, and then sometimes it's good for you to be with new talent. Sometimes it's good for the gymnast to be with a new coach.
Yeah. And at that time, you know, Simone was still saying that she wasn't sure if she was going to retire. She knew she was going to take some time off. And, you know, I had made a lot of sacrifices.
Right now. You stop it right now. I love it. When you go back to, I think I might take some time off. I think I might retire at the age of what now at that point?
Not 19 at that point,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
She's certainly changed that bar for sure. But, you know, I knew that I needed to dedicate more time to my family and my husband's dreams and the things my children wanted to do, because I had made so many sacrifices for gymnastics. And I do think it's healthy to move on. It helps people grow. And, you know, I miss her all the time and I love her and I want the best for her always. Yeah. But, you know, life moves forward and it's okay.
And at this level that you were coaching, you're not just a coach, you're also a part-time therapist. Simone already had some childhood trauma, as we know, but this was kind of her way of moving beyond that and proving I can do anything despite what my circumstances may have been. So especially at the peak of her performance, we also know that she experienced some pressure again when she decided to bow out. And that showed strength to say, you know what, I don't want to risk it. insight on this. I have a friend who's actually, Callie Werner, who is actually a PhD in psychology. She's an athlete as well. And what she does is works with athletes in particular, because at this level, you're not only representing yourself, especially when you're singled out like that, you're in a solo performance and you're representing a country. That could be tremendous pressure.
Yeah, and it's honestly one of the most proud moments that I've ever had of her, was her pulling herself from that competition, on the world's biggest stage, because she knew it was right for her health, her physical health, her emotional health. And it was hard for her. And she knew that she was going to face some backlash from it, but it didn't matter. And I hope that she had learned that as a child, growing up with my coaching, saying like, it's okay to take care of yourself first.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
she may have faced some backlash, but look what she came back and did. Aimee, thank you so very much for joining us today. In fact, you're in Germany right now, right? Coaching in Simone?
I am.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for the insight in this book.
Thank you for having me.
All right. The Balance, My Years Coaching Simone Biles, is available now wherever books are sold.